One, two, one, two, one, two. Yes, yes, crew. We are actually live about now, live on youtube.com. And I thought I'd throw one of these live streams up. I haven't actually done one for a while. We normally do our late night disco, which is when I'm like DJing on my decks, which are just to the side of me there. So I thought, do you know what? Let's just throw up a little YouTube live where I'm actually talking and stuff like this. I did this, I think, near the beginning of the year, and I set out some like goals and updates, and like what I sort of wanted to do this year, if that makes sense. And I didn't really do any more of I've never done a live stream like this since. But I did set that original live stream so that when new people visit the channel for the first time, then that would be the first video that they would see on the home page of my channel, if that makes sense. So when I come onto my channel, I obviously see it, and it kind of reminded me, and I thought, oh yeah, I remember when I did a live like this. So I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna throw up a little live like this and just sort of give a few little updates, really kind of update you guys what I'm doing, where I'm going, what's happening going forward, etc., and stuff like that. And I just thought, yeah, why not throw up a little live like this? I'm not sure who's going to lock in, if anyone's going to come in the chat or not. You can watch this once they've gone live as well, so it'll just be like a YouTube video anyway. So I might ramble to no viewers, but people can watch this after the stream as well, if that makes sense. So so really, it's just to talk about a few updates, a couple of things that I'm going to be doing going forward, and stuff like that, really, which is what we're sort of like here to talk about in this stream, and stuff like that. So first off, I just want to thank all of the new subscribers that have been coming forward to the channel. We've had quite a lot recently. It's weird. We went from like around the 600 subscribers mark, and we started like boosting up from there on, and we just started gaining more subs. I think it was when I got posted on TikTok. I don't know if any of you are aware. I mean, some of the new subscribers will be, if that's why they've subbed. But essentially, a guy put my video on TikTok. It was an old MC. It was my out in the garden, and it did well on TikTok. It had like thousands of views, and it was getting quite a lot of comments. So then some guy who had links to the official New Monkey page on Facebook, they also took that video from TikTok and they put it on the New Monkey page as well. It was kind of like the old MC got brought back to life. And then a good pal of mine who runs official Northeast MCs on Instagram has moved from Instagram onto TikTok, and featured a few of my MCs on there as well, which did relatively well. Some of them have hit again like thousands of views, so I was doing quite well on TikTok, and basically I think that's brought new subs over to the channel. But we are actually enclosing on to hitting 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy to think. Now I am happy about it. I mean, I've never hit 1,000 subs before on a YouTube channel, and I've been doing YouTube for a lot of years, but I've never really taken YouTube seriously, if that makes sense. Like, I enjoy doing it, but I don't enjoy doing it, if that makes sense. Like some people enjoy doing it, that they want to make it a hobby. They want to turn the hobby, into a reality, and they actually want to do YouTube like as a full-time job, and they want to hit thousands upon thousands of subs, and they want to earn money from it. Whereas me, on the other hand, YouTube has always just been a bit of fun for me, and the way I see it and the way I want to see it is I do YouTube purely for the fun of it. I upload a video because I want to upload it. I don't upload videos because I feel I have to upload them, and I don't by any means stick to any form of schedule. And I don't, I put a video up when I want to put one up. So if I feel like going live and mixing, I go live and I mix. You know what I mean? There's no kind of, there's no set times and schedules, and there's no particular way the channel runs. It's just, I love my music, so you might see me live MCing, you might see me live DJing, you might see a video with me freestyling, but it doesn't mean you're going to see a video of me freestyling every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? Because I just don't enjoy YouTube that much to put myself under that pressure of having to work hard and put the videos on. Because if I believe, in some sense, if something that you love is if you feel it's becoming a chore, then you're not enjoying it. And at one point I was trying to keep this channel like, as up to date as I could, but the truth is I just want to post when I want to post something, and because I enjoy it. So obviously, like I say, I do thank all of the new subscribers that are coming forward, but however, like I'm not really fussed how long it takes to get to the milestones that we get to. Like, I've been doing YouTube probably since 2012, 2013. I started a channel years and years and years ago when I was a kid. Well, I would have been about, I don't know, I'd have been about 13, 14. And I started doing some PS3 videos, and they were absolutely diabolical. But before that, I did used to do some YouTube animation with a friend as well. So I have been doing YouTube relatively for a long while. So maybe since I was probably about 12, 13 years old. And I am actually now currently, as I'm doing this live stream, 20, 23 years old, and I will be 24 this year, which is crazy to think. So I've actually been doing this over 10 years, like doing, having at least, let's say, something to do with YouTube. And I've run gaming channels, animation channels, music channels, radio channels, you name it, I've done it. I've even attempted to film vlogs. I've done a bit of everything, really. But YouTube is not something that I've wanted to do. Like, it's never been a full-time thing for me. So I've always kind of just done it as a hobby kind of thing, and just done it when I've sort of wanted to do it. And that's kind of where it's gone. So, like I say, I do obviously thank all the new subscribers, but if it takes us another 3 years to get to 2,000 subscribers, obviously when we do hit the 1K mark, then so be it. If the channel blows up and we start hitting hundreds and thousands of subscribers, nothing's going to change. I'm not going to suddenly decide to take on board this YouTube life and start YouTubing on the daily basis. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if I'm going to get paid for my videos, which I highly doubt I will, because I mix in live streams, and I play a lot of copyrighted music. My MC videos sometimes contain copyrighted songs in the background, and that just really shows how much I really enjoy YouTube. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone who wants to take this full time would spend time going through rap beats and making sure they're not copyrighted. Whereas me, if I get a strike, I get a strike. If I get taken down, at the end of the day, I fucking get taken down. Do you know what I mean? I'll just start another channel, whether I've got 100 subs, 1,000 subs. I'll just start a new one and go, hey, look, follow this channel, and just do exactly what I do on this one. Hopefully we don't get taken down. It would be gutting and a shame if we did, but I aren't that asked about getting a takedown or not, that I would go through every single live stream video and make sure that the content's copyrighted or not, because I just purely could not give a crap. At the end of the day, the way I see it, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, all I'm doing is going live, you're watching me mix, and I'm playing music at the end of the day. And, by no means is there anything in my descriptions or titles that, where I'm stating this song is made by me or I am the owner of this song. I'm just doing a mix and I like the song, so I mix it into the mix. If that sort of makes sense. But like I say, that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate all these new subscribers coming in. And it doesn't mean that I don't want to gain new subscribers, because I do. It doesn't mean that I don't want to carry on YouTube, because I do. I love YouTube. It is a passion of mine. I don't want to take it full time, and I don't want to focus on it like more than I'm focusing on other things, if that makes sense. I'm quite well popular on social media like Facebook and Instagram, and I'm not gonna lie, I do prefer them platforms. I prefer Facebook the most, because Facebook is just, it's so easy to address something without having to, like with YouTube, I'm giving these updates now and I'm coming live and talking about it. Whereas if I wanted to give these updates on Facebook, I could just write it in a little status for people to read. YouTube is obviously all about videos. But me, because I'm a musician, sometimes I like to just give people a quick little bit of information for them to read, rather than making a 5-minute video for people to watch about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could just type out, I'm doing this, that, and the other. People could read it in a couple of minutes and be gone. Or they could come onto YouTube and they could watch a 5-minute video of me saying I'm going to be doing this, that, and the other. And to me personally, social media is just better than YouTube. Like, Instagram I like Instagram, but Instagram is very kiddie-ish, and a lot of my audience on Instagram, they are kids. When you try to go live on Instagram and say a few announcements, it's sometimes like they're too childish to sit down and listen to some information. Like, if I make a live stream and say, hey, I've got a gig or I've got something coming up at the weekend, it's like it bores them and they don't want to listen to it. But if I go live on Instagram and I start rapping and freestyling, then people actually like it. And sometimes I go live and I don't want to rap and freestyle, and I'll get hounded from comments from little kids who think there's something clever, like, spit a freestyle, spit some flames, get a beat going. And sometimes, to rap and to freestyle, especially, thinking of lyrics on your brain all the time is quite hard. And sometimes, it takes a lot out of your breath as well. And sometimes you don't always want to MC like every single time you go live. Sometimes you just want to simply come live, announce a gig that you're doing, and just sort of like interact with your followers in another way. Because I am a musician, but I'm not just a musician. Like, I'm a person as well. I'm a guy who has feelings, and I do like to address things, and I do like to state what's going on somewhat in my life as well. I don't just come on and music. I've got things to address. I've got things to say. And sometimes I want to just come live and say them without being hounded about, putting a beat on. Sometimes, I've had a little bit of a busy day, so I maybe don't get to come live until until it's, a little bit late at night, like this time now. I couldn't put a beat on and start freestyling because it's quite late in my house. And I actually had a little bit of an issue with that last week. Actually, I think it was about a week ago. I'm sure it would be about a week ago. Quite a funny story, but it was also a stupid story at the same time. So basically, to cut the story short, I may as well say it while we're live. So to cut the story short, it was about a week ago. I'd been sat downstairs, I'd been chilling, just watching a bit of telly. I'd had some tea and stuff, and I decided to come back upstairs, put my PC on and stuff. I think, if anything, I was going to come live on YouTube something like that, and just have a little mix and stuff. So I come live. So sorry, I come upstairs. I get checking, I start checking my phone and stuff, and I've been sent loads of invites on Instagram to this guy's live stream. So I decide that I'm going to join the live stream. So I thought, you know what, I'll join it. We'll see what it's all about. So I'm obviously joining this live stream. So I join it, and there's about three people in the live stream. I think one of them recognized, like one of them knew who I was. I think the other two people had like seen me on TikTok or something. So they got me in the live, and they asked me if I would spit a beat. So obviously it was quite late at night, but I thought, do you know what? It's one track. Do you know what I mean? It's not as if I spit beats, I spit bars late at night, like every night. It was a one-off. They'd asked me if I'd do it, and I thought, I think this guy had been inviting, trying to get me on their lives for quite a few weeks as well, and I'd just been busy and doing some other things and never got round to it. So I thought, do you know what? Fair enough. I thought, do you know what? It's one song, so I'll just do it. So I put a beat on. I didn't have it, blasting out too loud, but it was a little loud to start with, so I adjusted the volume. I started spitting, etc. So my mum come up panicking, saying it was late, etc. So I was sort of politely trying to tell her that I'm just going to do this one song, because I was in the middle of being live. So I was trying to like brush her off and say like, just hang on a second, go away. I'm just doing this one song, in the nicest way possible. So she went away. I carried on spitting. I wasn't even going to spit like to the whole length of the rap instrumental either. Like I was going to just do a little bit of it because I knew it was late. But my mum actually came back in, and started panicking and fretting again. And I decided to go downstairs and sort of like not have it out with her, but just sort of try and explain that I'm just, I've been asked. I mean, I'm sort of in like this interview. I've been asked if I'd do this one song. So I was just going to do the one song, but she was panicking and fretting, and the neighbors aren't going to be having it, and all the rest of it, and caused a right little scene. And all the time, this scene happened, and we started having an argument. I'd actually left myself live, and the people who had got me on the live stream had heard everything that, well, I don't know if they'd heard everything that had been said, but that they could hear like there was an argument going on, if that makes sense. So essentially, I come back upstairs. I realised I'd been live the whole time still. And to cut the story short, they were laughing and joking and giggling, which I'm not being funny, right? I mean, who isn't gonna laugh and joke and giggle? Do you know what I mean? Like, a 23-year-old getting told off by his mum for having a beat too loud. Do you know what I mean? But the thing was, and the thing the thing what annoyed me about the situation is it was one song. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't gonna sit there and have it on for hours. I'm not that harsh. Every time I do a mix when I'm live mixing late at night here on this YouTube channel, I always mix in these headphones because I've got my wires and things set up so that can happen. So essentially, like my speakers don't even have to be turned on, and I can mix. I can mix without anybody hearing it, like in the house. And I always do it because I know it's late. And I know that they don't like it when it's late. So I've been respectful with that. I do that every single night. But it was just one time they wanted me to rap. And the thing that annoyed me is my mum didn't need to cause an argument over it because like I was trying to tell her like it was just going to be one song, and then I was going to turn the music off. It was like one song which was going to last about 2 minutes and a half to 3 minutes at the latest, at the longest, and then I would have had turned the music off and stuff like that. But she caused a scene, and she caused an argument, and it didn't need to happen. It could have been resembled in a manner that didn't need to go the way it did, and she got so wound up about it. and she thought that like I was trying to complain about like not being able to have music on and stuff. I'm not bothered about that. Like, like I would have, like, once the song had finished, like I would have gone off, I would have come off the live and I would have apologized, and I would have explained to my mum, and I would have said, look, it's just one song. Do you know what I mean? I would have just played the one song, and that's all it was. It was just one song. They've been asking me to go on for ages, so I went on. I just did it quickly for a couple of minutes, and that's it. The music's off. Do you know what I mean? But because she caused all of this great big scene, and then it got so petty, like she was going to move out, and then apparently I don't like her, and it caused a very unnecessary scene, and I don't know where the "I don't like you" started coming from, and all the rest of it. So, yeah, it was one of them really crazy, really crazy, little moments. But these things happen. So, yeah, that was kind of the story that went on there. But anyway, more importantly to the live stream, I was going to give a few updates and things like that about, what's coming up and stuff. So as far as like updates and things go, I'm doing quite a few things DJing at the moment, because when we're in lockdown, it's not as easy to MC. But it's very easy to like go live and DJ. So I've been doing a few pages. I've taken on residency with Harder Southwest, which is one of the best things I've done probably in my MCing career, because everybody is just so nice in Harder Southwest. We have like a group chat in Facebook Messenger, so we're all like, so we know about our slot times and what days we're going live and stuff, and all the information, all the updates about the page and stuff gets addressed in the group chats. And besides all that, we have a laugh in there, and we have a talk, and we've made friends in there, and we're all like one big family. There's people in there now that I actually inbox personally and privately, and we get along as friends and stuff like that. And we send each other music and stuff, and loads of people in there. And if I'm making a new track, or whatever it may be, whether it's like hardcore related or not, I can post it in the group chat, and and everyone's just sound about it, and we all have our laugh, and we all roll with it, if you like, if that's how you want to call it. And it's really wicked. So I play on there every Monday from 3 till 4 p.m., and it's really enjoyable. It's something that's really really good for me. Um, and not only that, it's become like the in thing. So like every Monday, people actually like look forward to that time when I come live, and I've got like set people that lock in every week and listen to my show, listen to my live stream, and it's absolutely wicked. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal, really. It's actually really good, and I enjoy it, and I look forward to every single Monday. I wake up and it's just that feeling. The weather's nice, the sun is shining. You're on Harder Southwest, and you're going through your music, and you're getting ready to go live, and then it's just like you go live at 3, and you blast out that hour, and it's just that power hour of pure music that you love, fun with the people that are watching, like banter in the chat room and stuff, and it's just absolutely fantastic. It's really amazing. So I do that every Monday. And then I also joined forces with another group called Hardcore Till We Bounce, but unfortunately I will be resigning from that page, unfortunately, because there's been a few issues within the page, and the first issue wasn't really anything to do with the page as such. However, the second issue was highly to do with the page, and it actually really annoyed me. So the first issue was there's a guy on there called MC Renegade, and he seemed like a sound guy. He's got quite friendly with a close friend of mine as well in Hull, and he seemed like a pretty sound guy. And then about a week ago, just under, I was scrolling through Facebook, and there was someone had put a post up regarding this MC Renegade, and apparently there was allegations that he was a rapist, and that he had actually been charged for raping a woman and beating a woman up, and he actually served a 6 year prison sentence for actually raping this woman, and apparently he's on the sex offenders list for doing so. So me personally, 2 seconds. So me personally, I I didn't want to be associated on the same page, with a guy who does that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? I've got no time for people that do that sort of thing. At first, I was a little bit, I inboxed the guy himself because I thought, the guys always seem sound. So, there's always two sides to a story. So I thought I'll get this guy's side of the story. I'll find out what's going on. And he denied the allegations. However, upon denying the allegations, I found a news article that was actually stating that this was true. He did actually get the 6 years for the rape, etc. So in my eyes, you do something like that, I haven't got no time for you, and I'm trying to get somewhere with music, so I don't want to be involved with anything that's going to corrupt my name. So I thought, well, it's not really the page's fault, so I can't just leave the page. So I thought the only way to go about this was to, to personally inbox the owner of the page and make the owner of the page aware, that there's these allegations going about. And, in the nicest way possible, I told her that I wasn't willing to, be associated with anybody like that. And if he continues to stay on the page, then sadly, I wouldn't stay with the page, if that makes sense. But she was real cool about it, and she'd already come across this information, and she'd actually kicked him from the group chat and the page anyway. So we had a little bit of a talk, and everything was sound, and she appreciated me letting her know and stuff, etc. So we fast forward to this morning. So this morning, I wake up to an inbox from a good friend of mine, Mr. DJ Monster. Sends me a couple of screenshots. Now, I've been working with this Hardcore Till We Bounce page for quite a couple of weeks now, and they've been raising money for charity. And me, I always like to do my bit. I always like to help where I can. However, I don't help the wrong people, if that makes sense. And it turns out I'd actually been helping the wrong people, and so is many other people. So we've been raising money for charity. There's been donations and GoFundMe links. And apparently, according to this news article, the charity money and charity money and stuff, and apparently this woman that runs the page actually has been arrested before in the past for smuggling drugs into the country, and apparently the charity money that is actually getting raised is apparently going on smuggling cash, smuggling drugs, and buying drugs and stuff into uh, you know getting herself a fix basically, and dealing drugs and stuff like that. Now, I don't like drugs personally. Now, The thing with me for drugs is I do know people that take drugs, and I haven't personally got an issue with people that take drugs. I know people that smoke green. I know people that have sniffed lines before. I know people that do sniff lines. That's what they do. That's fair enough. However, I won't support it, and I definitely won't pay for people's drugs, if that makes sense. So, like, I've got no issue with my mate smoking a bit of green, but if he said, could I lend him a tenner to get his next supply of weed? I would be like, I'm sorry, mate. I ain't got a problem that you smoke it, but I'm personally not giving you my money so you can buy it. So essentially, I'm not going live on this page, um, you know, sort of like promoting a GoFundMe link. When if the cash is just going to get used for this woman's next fix, or for this woman's supply of drugs, or whatever dodgy stuff it's going to go on. And for me, I just don't want to be involved. Nothing against the woman, if this actually hasn't been true, but she did definitely get involved with something a couple of years back in 2018, I believe. I don't know, like, if whatever's happening now with the GoFundMe links, if the money is going to dodgy stuff. There's nothing that proves it, but there's just, I feel dodgy written all over it. Like, I don't feel safe, if that makes, like, I feel safe, but if you get what I mean, like, it feels weird. It feels weird. So, like, I don't want to play for the page just purely because I'm curious, if that makes sense. And like I say, my ultimate dream and passion is to carry on within this music, and I don't want to be involved. I don't want to support stuff that's gonna jeopardize my name, or it's gonna make people think, well, you actually, you were actually working for a fake charity. That's not who I want to be. That's not my dream. It's not my aim, and stuff like that. Going out to KRN, how you doing, bro? So I want to walk away from the page, if that makes sense. It's just too much stuff is going about, and to cut the story short, like, I just can't be bothered with it. It's like I go on Harder Southwest every Monday, and that's just fun. It's a shed of laughs. It's a shed of fun. It's just fantastic, and I just, I want other pages to be like that. I want to go on other pages. I want to have fun, like I have fun on Harder Southwest. I'm certainly cannot be doing with drama. People that are, having all this drama, and there seems to be a lot of it at the moment. A lot of people like to stir the pot. A lot of people are turning out to not be the person that they actually are. There's been a few, let's say, nonces that have come to light in recent, or people that used to be one and have actually changed their name when they've been, like, released out of prison, or they're trying to cover up that old life so people don't know what they used to be. But people find out in the end. Do you know what I mean? People find out in the end. You can't hide what you've done, and people that do shit like that, people that do nonsense stuff, I haven't got no time for you. I honestly cannot I cannot be asked. And if I get wind of anybody that does any shit like that, I will spread it about like fire. I will tell pages, I will tell promoters, and you won't be doing any live streams on any pages if you're doing any nonsense stuff. Or even if you've done it in the past, like, if something's even gone through your mind to, like, sexually assault somebody, abuse somebody, to rape somebody, whether you've done your prison sentence for it or not, you're absolutely sick in the head. And the way I see it, people don't get long enough for crimes as it is. Apparently, a life sentence is 25 years. 25 years is not a life sentence. But apparently they say that 25 years inside, you've been inside most of your life, like you've missed most of your life. But a life sentence is a life sentence, not most of your life. Like, if it was up to me, a life sentence would be like, you would go in, and when you go in, you do not go out until you die. And what's all this, getting released for good behavior? So you kill somebody, right? Or you rob a bank, right? But you're inside and you play good boy. and you don't do a thing wrong inside, and you keep clean inside, you get let out early, or you get released on good behavior. But it still doesn't condole the fact of what you did. So if you kill somebody, you put someone's family through that, all that pain and stress of losing a loved one, but you play a good boy inside and do what everybody says. Never mind how that family feels and what you've taken away. You can come out early and you can rebuild your life early, but that person you've killed is never going to be able to rebuild his life. And this is what I hate. And I think the system's corrupted. Found you on BTEC Grime. You legend. Keep up the MCs, mate. The one in the van about the next door neighbor is class. I wrote that about 2 years ago. So it's very like it's come back to life. Like 2 years later. It's actually about nearly 2 years and a half old. Is that MC? Well, just over 2 years actually. I wrote it in February of 2019, and I actually remember the day I wrote it, because 2019 I was having a wicked year. Like, good things were happening for me. And I'd been getting like put on these pages that were hitting like big amounts of views. And I wanted to keep going, so I was in this like frame of mind, and I was doing a lot of writing bars at the time. So essentially, I got laid in bed one night, and this little rhyme come into my head. Just this, I was out in the garden cutting the grass, and I was thinking, and when you're laid in bed and something plays on your mind, and you just can't get to sleep. So this thing come into my head, and it got into my head. So I started thinking, what's gonna rhyme with this? What could rhyme with out in the garden cutting the grass? And then I thought, I wrote a few things down, and then looking at the next door neighbor's wife's ass came into play. So sorry, I was thinking of these in my mind. Sorry, different rhymes. So then the looking at the next door neighbor's wife's ass came into my mind. So I literally sat up and I thought, I've got to write this down, because if I, because I've wrote the rhyme, like in my mind, I've wrote the rhyme, so I could essentially have settled down and gone to bed, if that makes sense. However, if I'd have done that, I might have forgotten it like by the next day. Do you know what I mean? It was just a spare of the moment thing. So essentially, I actually wrote the rhyme down. I actually inboxed it to a friend. I said, listen, look, my friend from Scotland. I said, I thought of this rhyme. I actually think it could be quite funny and decent. What do you think of it? So I sent it to him, and essentially he was like, yeah, that's a wicked rhyme, that, bruv. And I carried on writing to it, and then a couple of days later, I actually recorded it, and I literally uploaded it, and then it went viral. So, did your next door neighbor ever find the video? Well, at the time, I actually had a male next door neighbor living next door. He did actually find the video, but it was just a bit of funny. It was just purely a rhyme. Do you know what I mean? It was just something a little funny. But the guy did actually he found it funny at the time. But it was like the whole idea of the story was, is that there's a man and a woman who lives next door. The woman is supposed to be quite a flirty woman. She's supposed to be a bit of a cock teaser. So essentially, there's this guy who's living next door, and he's got this crush on the neighbor. And this neighbor's girl's playing a little bit sort of like hard to get. So she's like out in the garden, he's cutting the grass, she's out next door, she's wiggling her bum and stuff, and sort of teasing him. And then the rhyme sort of about him, like he was out in the garden cutting the grass, but he was staring at the next door neighbor's wife's ass. So he was looking at the wife's ass. As she was slowly walking past, and he said, "Bloody hell, would you look at that?" And then she was slowly flicking her hair in the pink bikini, and it was turning him on. So he was like, "Oh God, I swear we're going to have an affair. I tell you, like." If she doesn't stop this, like he's gonna bang her. Do you know what I mean? So that was like the aim of the song, but it was just a made up story. There was nothing about it. It wasn't aimed at anybody. It was just purely a rhyme that came into my mind one late night. I might have even been like a Tuesday night or something. In all fairness. Yeah, the door one. The door one was another funny one as well. I just said to my mate one day, I said, you know what, I'm gonna write an MC about the job centre. And although it's a funny rhyme, if you actually listen to the full rhyme, it's actually about a guy who's got a passion for music. He's struggling to get through with music. Um, but he likes having a good time and he likes his music. But the aim of the song was he was kind of singing to the job centre, saying like that he doesn't want to, he's got a dream to be a musician, and that he doesn't want to do, he doesn't want to work in a shop, and he doesn't want to wash dishes somewhere. He doesn't want to go on an agency. He wants to show the world what he can do with his talent. But at the moment his music's not getting anywhere and he's having to sign on. So it was a little funny rhyme. Yeah, I like to have some form of stories for them. You see, when I'm writing, I like to picture like what I'm writing about. Like I done one recently with a Jigger Man called The Good Life. It's like a reggae tune. It is on my channel if you want to check it out. And I picture that song. It's just about a guy who's like really chilled out. He's got no stress, he's got no trouble, and he just blazes his weed every day. And he's just, he's living the good life. He's just living the best life. It just, in other words, to cut the, to cut the story short, he couldn't give a shit. And that's how I would love to live, like somebody who just doesn't worry. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so many people nowadays that are down, depressed, and stressed. So many people that just actually go through a rough and a tough time, and sometimes you think, what for? Like, why are you actually letting things get to you so much? Like years ago, like back in the 90s, people dealt with stress, and this is no word of a lie. People deal with stress, right? And literally, like nowadays, people like that, post everything online. Like, I feel so down, I feel so helpless, I feel so weak at the moment, I just can't take it no more, had enough of this week, I'm absolutely fed up, just feeling so down. It's 9 a.m. Is it bedtime already? Only been awake an hour and I've already had enough of today. Just had enough of things at the moment. And you just think, why? Like, no one, no, like years ago, people dealt with it, and people didn't go blabbering online and crying out online, like because they're going through a bit of a tough time. People got through the tough time. Do you know what I mean? Like if you go back years ago, like to 20 years ago, like suicide wasn't as big as it is now. Like, yeah, people still took their own life, but like nowadays there's so much more people that content, that think about doing it. There's people that succeed in doing it, and there's people that actually do it. There's people that actually attempt it, but actually fail to do it because they can't bring themselves to do it. Bridges are having to be made safer so people don't jump from them. And I just think, why? Like, I just think you've got something purely messed up, like to get that low. Like, you must be in a low place to think about like ending your life. But the thing that people that do end their life, like what they don't think about is like what they're leaving behind. Do you know what I mean? Because once they're gone, they're gone. Like, I could be down as hell today, and I could think, you know what, I just want to end it all, and I could end it all. But to me, I'm gone. But everybody else, like parents, close friends, sisters, they've all got to deal with that loss. And I ain't gonna go into too much about this because I don't like to speculate and accumulate. But obviously, DJ Squaddy sadly died a couple of weeks back, nearly a month back now. And it never actually came to light how he died, right? But there was people saying, he had been going through a tough time. So I don't like to speculate and accumulate. And nothing against him. He was a wicked guy, and I can't believe he's gone. I actually loved his music, but I do. That there is a part of me that thinks, I think it was suicide. Like, I think the guy did take his own life, and I found out some bad news yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? That sadly someone I knew of had died. Um, and literally, like, you know, I think this could have possibly have been the same, in personal opinion. And I don't like to judge, and I don't want to go in and start jumping to a load of conclusions that aren't true. But there was no sign of like this person being ill. There was no like article or story about like an accident. There was no car crash. There's no house fire. There was nothing that, unless, something's going to come out like in a news article. There was nothing that stated that something had caused this person's death. It was just like, all of a sudden she was posting on Facebook, and then the next minute there's people posting on a wall, I can't believe you've gone. So personally, in my opinion, I think, it's got to be suicide. But that's no disrespect to anybody, or disrespect to anybody in the family. I'm just genuinely, that's why I'm not mentioning any names or any people. I'm pretty sure people who watch this might have a good idea who it is. If you know me on a more personal level, and some of the people I know. But it's not about judging people at the end of the day. But suicide has definitely become like a bigger thing of more recent. And I just think to myself, why? Like, I have bad days. And I maybe don't have bad days as bad as other people do. But believe you and me, I don't come online and share all of the bull crap and all of the shit that I go through. And believe you and me, I do go through some shit. And sometimes I do sit there and think, what's it all for? Like, why do I even do this? Like, when I got into an argument with my mum last week about the music, I was thinking, like, do you know what I mean? Why have I put all this effort in for nearly 5 years, just to be in this predicament where I'm having an argument with someone for doing the music, which is doing what I love. Do you know what I mean? And I have days where things won't go right, and things won't work out for me. And I'll think, what is it all for? Like, why am I bothering? Do you know what I mean? But you've just got to pull yourself through. And I always I've got this little like sort of like rhyme. It's a message. I said it in one of the songs. I don't think it's out yet, but it's actually called "Problems Ain't That Bad. There's always a solution. If there's bad things in life, then start to reduce them." And my idea behind this rhyme is literally, so like, you've got issues going on, but look at how you can fix them instead of letting the actual problem itself like bring you down. So for example, like something, like quite bad might happen, right? And sometimes, you can't say this like for every situation, because some things are terrible. Like, like, obviously, like, like if you lose a loved one, for example, you can't just fix that solution. That you can't change the fact that they've gone. But what I'm saying is, like, say for example, like, you drop your phone and you crack the screen, right? Instead of letting that like cracked screen like bring you down and think like, oh, I forgot, what am I going to do, all the rest of it, sit there and think, right, I've got this cracked screen, how am I going to fix it? What can I do? Does the phone work? Can I get a price for a screen? How long will I have to wait until I can get it fixed? Maybe when's payday? And stuff like that. And you can do the same with like, with like other things, like maybe, you mess up with something one day, but instead of like letting that get to you, think like, well, how can I make sure that this won't happen the next day? So instead of letting the actual issue get you down, which in my opinion is why a lot of people go depressed, because they let things get on top of them. If something goes wrong, they let it bring them down, and they get upset about it, rather than thinking like, well, hang on a second, like, how can I make sure that this won't happen again? So I always use this motto, like, problems ain't that bad. There's always a solution. So if someone puts on Facebook, like, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit down, I usually post this little picture, which is like, it's a pencil that's rubbing out the word problems. So like it's rubbing them out, and it says like problems, and the problems is just starting to be rubbed out at the end of the word. And then at the bottom, I wrote underneath, ain't that bad. There's always a solution. If there's bad things in life, then start to reduce them. And it's just to remind people that, whatever you're going through, 9 times out of 10, there will be a way to get through them. And, you can actually, if you've got something that is bringing you down or something that's making you feel unhappy, sort it out. Stop it from making you unhappy. If someone's making you unhappy, cut them from your life. If something's just bringing you down, stop it from bringing you down. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so Good Life, like I say, so that track was aimed at positivity, because a lot of people find themselves feeling down, which, like I say, it's a bit of a shame, and I don't hate people that are down, but I do sometimes think, like, why? Do you know what I mean? Like, I go on Facebook and someone says they're down, and I just think, like, not another person, like, not another not another person that's depressed, like. And it does feel sometimes like that, like everyone is depressed, like everybody. But years ago, I don't know if that's just because there wasn't, like, social media, so people that were depressed weren't, physically posting about it, or anything like that. But mainly people did deal with stress, like people did get through the week and stuff like that. Like, you see, like, petty things, like people who are down, like, on Facebook, and they're just having a tough week, like the kids are playing up, like. And to me, I think, like, well, you had kids, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not being funny, like, you know it's not going to be a walk in the park every day having kids. Do you know what I mean? But, like, if it's actually getting you down that much that you're having to, like, put on Facebook that you've had enough and you can't cope, like, why did you have the kid in the first place? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not being funny, right? But, like, I can understand if someone's, like, really, really been through a tough time, and, they've had, like, they've maybe lost loved ones, or they've maybe lost a business, it's had to close down, or for whatever reason. you know I can sort of sympathize with them a little bit more. But for someone to say they've had enough and they can't cope no more, just because their two banes are being a little bit naughty, or because, like, they're just playing up a bit, or for whatever reason. Or even sometimes you see ones like, oh, I've had enough, that the bane's ill now, blah blah blah, so that's the bane off school. And I think, well, hang on a second. Like, if the Bane's ill, the Bane can't help being ill. Like, why is that bringing you down? Like, at the end of the day, like, it's just part of life. Like, years ago, people would have got on with it. Do you know what I mean? But people do put, like, petty things on Facebook as to why they're down. Like, as opposed to someone who, like, really actually is going through something. Do you know what I mean? And I know people, like, without naming them, that do put, like, petty things, like they've had enough just because. Do you know what I mean? Just because the kids are playing up, or for, or just, or for whatever reason, that's just so petty, or like the house is a mess, and it's just like, well, clean it up then. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you actually making such a mountain out of a molehill? Just, because you've got a messy house, or your daughter's been a bit naughty. Like, I know it can be stressful, and I know it can be, like, tiring, and it can, like, annoy you a bit. But, like, it shouldn't bring you down, because at the end of the day, it was your decision to have a kid. Or, if you maybe didn't plan to have it and you fell pregnant, it was still your decision to keep the kid. Do you know what I mean? And you've got a duty to look after that kid, And at the end of the day, no kid is a saint. There's going to be times where the kid's going to do something it shouldn't do, or maybe it doesn't know that that's right from wrong. For example, like if he hears an adult swear and then he swears, he might not genuinely know that he's not supposed to swear. So it's your line of duty to tell it to him and say, look, you're not supposed to do it. But if it's bringing you down that much, like I said before, you shouldn't have a kid. Do you know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I think a lot of the depression, people just put it on and turn on the waterworks on Facebook for sympathy, and then people that actually are depressed, like people that have actually gone like and fully taken their own life and stuff, you don't know about it because they're actually hurting inside, and they're actually going through something that is a lot more worse than whatever these people that are having a tough week are going through. And these people that are having a tough week are like the people that are getting the attention and getting noticed, where it's the people that are actually suffering with something that's a bit more serious, like they're struggling with the fact that someone died in the family, or the fact that for whatever reason they've had to leave a property they were in that they maybe lived in for years, or they maybe ran a business for years and it's had to close down, and for whatever reason, or maybe they was involved in a car crash, and maybe the car crash has kind of made them a little bit frightened and scared, and they're actually going through something. Whereas these people that are just having a stressful week, like I said, they're like taking the limelight. And this is why I think some people that are actually going through something are actually what's the word, like they're actually sort of like in some sense getting missed out. They're not getting noticed because they don't like to trouble people, and they like to try and deal with whatever they're going through. Or maybe because in some sense they are stronger and they think I can get through this, or maybe they just don't feel like they can talk to someone, or maybe if they talk to someone they think, what if this person just thinks I'm daft. Do you know what I mean? So you never really know what's fully going on. But the depression as a whole has just, in my opinion, got stupid. I'm not depressed. I have good and bad days. I have days where where I just think, what, I've had enough of today. But I'm never down. I never feel like I can't carry on anymore. I never, do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't. I don't go through like too much stress. Like, I don't have bills and stuff to pay. Like, I do have bills, but I don't live in my own property. So I am like still living with my mum. So I'm not having like council tax, internet bills to pay and stuff like that. So I can understand like there's no stress there. But believe you and me, things I don't say on live streams, like I still go through stuff that I can't talk about. But do you know what I mean? But yeah, good life. Going back to it, I think we did sidetrack quite a lot. It's just a chilled out track. So check that out. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a story for every song. I write. There's a story for every song. Um, you know, as it is. So anyway, um, as far as like more updates go, I have actually got a an official nightclub booking to DJ. I can't say too much about it because we're actually just waiting for one more artist to confirm, and then once the artist confirms or doesn't confirm, we can go ahead with like full information. But all I'm gonna say is I'm gonna be MCing and I'm gonna be DJing as well. I'm super excited to DJ because DJing is like my other passion besides MCing, and it has been a dream to get a nightclub booking as a DJ. Just to think, like 2 years ago, I could barely mix two tracks together, and now I'm mixing on vinyl and CDJs. It's quite crazy. As a matter of fact, it's very crazy. Right, just bear with me. But yeah, that is actually coming up very very soon. Um, yeah. So when I can give more information about that, I'll give more info going forward. And that is about it, apart from one other thing that I do want to address. And it will be quite similar to what I've done in today's live stream, kind of. But I just want to run a little something past you guys that I'm actually thinking about doing. So I work for a station called a radio station called Layman Radio, and sadly, the station has kind of like closed down for the time being. We had a manager who was managing the station, and he was paying the server for the website, and sadly, he left the team. To cut the story short, he wasn't pulling his weight, and we kind of like things were going wrong with the station. Like for example, we'd like bring some, because we had a green room on a Saturday, and now the green room was like where special guests would come onto the station, where we'd like bring some big names into the station. And I started approaching a couple of big DJs and saying, look, would you send us a set that we can play on the station of yours and have you on as a special guest? I got Paul Taylor from Retro to do a set, and there was just like confusion and things going on. And the person who was the manager, he was supposed to check people's sounds and stuff, and he was supposed to like promote and share things and stuff like that. And he was supposed to like advertise like what was coming on the radio, like if we had special guests on and things. So sadly, in the end, we were like, the owner of the station was like, I can't do this no more. Unfortunately, you aren't pulling your weight. You'll have to take a step back from the station. So obviously, with him taking a step back, he wasn't paying the server no more. And the guy who was running the station was going through a couple of issues himself, so he couldn't afford to carry on paying the server, if you like. And the station sort of went on hold just sort of around Christmas time. And basically, I used to do a show on there called Talk with Noble. It was like a talk show where I spoke for an hour, played music, and we went over different topics, and we got different guests and things on the live stream. And I haven't done it for ages, so I was kind of missing it. So I was kind of thinking, well, what about if I actually did it on YouTube? So if I actually started running, sort of like restarting the talk with Noble, like doing it live on YouTube, like once a week. So like maybe a Tuesday from like 6 p.m. Or maybe not a Tuesday, maybe a Wednesday, no, maybe a Thursday or something, maybe a Thursday like today, from 6 p.m. Or something like that. We would go live. We'd do a talk with Noble. Or maybe we'd just do like episode numbers. So rather than like a weekly schedule, it would run as kind of like a bit more of a podcast, and we'd get like guests on the show, and we'd kind of like rebrand the talk with Noble, but there'd be like music as well in between, and there'd be like a selection of different songs throughout the podcast, and it would go on for about an hour, and we'd kind of like sort of like you know so I'd start the show. So we'd introduce the show. We'd start the show with a song. So I'd say like, welcome to another episode of Talk with Noble. Blah blah blah. This is episode such and such, episode 2, 3. So we're gonna kick things off with a song. We'd play a song. So I'd play a song. Then I would come back, and then the sort of like first half of the first part of the show would be a kind of like, what have I been up to, and just kind of like a little bit of a, what have I been doing since the last episode, if that makes sense. What have I been doing and stuff like that. and then basically we'd play another song, and then I'd get on to like maybe the first topic of the show, which would be my first topic. Then I'd play a song, and then I'd go on with maybe like a second topic. Then I would play a song, and then maybe I'd like wrap the show up. So the first half of the show, like where the first topic would just be like a first topic about me, or something that I want to talk about, like on the web and stuff like that. Um, the second half would be like where I would probably bring a guest onto the show. So I'd like get a guest onto the show and stuff like that. And we would like do something with the guest, like an interview and stuff like that. And then essentially, after that, we would just literally take we would just like finish with a song, and then we'd wrap the show up, etc., and we'd finish it. So let me know what you think about that one. That is definitely something that I want to do going forward. I'm looking quite forward to that idea. So keep your eyes peeled, because I will be probably doing something with that in a couple of weeks, a new podcast venture, which will be quite good. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. It will be live as well. So you will be able to have your say in the comments as well. So you will be able to say, like, for example, like, you will be able to, like, if we've got a guest on, you will be able to like ask the guest some questions as well. So you'll be able to like ask him something and say, do you know what I mean? You'll be able to, like, I don't know. So say like we have a DJ on for whatever, you'll be able to like ask him, well, oh, when did you start DJing? And then I'll say like, oh, well, Barry's just put a comment in and he says, when did you start DJing, Trevor? And then Trevor would obviously, he would come back and he'd say, I've been doing it for, yeah, good question. I've been doing it for 6 years. Started back in my mum's basement, just mixing on a little controller, and he would tell the story of how it began, if that makes sense. Sorry about that. Yeah, so let me know what you think about that. But anyway, this has just been a little bit of a random live. I hope you have sort of enjoyed it. I've rambled on a bit, I know. But I like to do this, and this is why I did this talk with Noble Idea. Is probably a good idea, because it gives me a chance to ramble, but it also gives me like a time limit to ramble, if that makes sense. And it gives me an indication like, play a song now. Shut up, Noble. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I've been going for an hour now. I've rambled enough. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, like, a stream just like this, I could probably ramble on for hours and hours and hours, and you'd probably get bored shitless. Do you know what I'm saying? But to cut the story short, I'm thinking about starting that. So let me know what you think. I'll still be coming live DJing and stuff, so you can still keep locking into them as well. And I'll still be doing other bits and bobs. So keep your eyes peeled along the channel. Keep liking, subscribing, closer to that 1,000 subscribers, which I actually can't fucking wait, because I'll be able to just start up a live stream off my phone again. Remember when we used to be able to just go live on YouTube from our phones without like having to use a third party app? Like, do you know what I mean? And then they stopped it and said, well, listen, look, at the end of the day, you've got to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to do this. Yeah, well, I'm nearly at 1,000 subscribers, bitch. And I actually cannot wait. Like, I actually cannot wait. So I can just like set my phone up wherever I am and go live with you people. Please like, subscribe, comment. Peace out, people.